Tracy E. Gilchrist, and this is Equal Entertainment. A major change is coming to Hollywood. The Hollywood Foreign Press Association will begin to wind down operations. The organization is selling its assets to Dick Clark Productions and relinquishing control of the Golden Globes. The HFPA was initially formed in 1943 and became a major fixture in Hollywood. But 2 years ago, many in Hollywood criticized the group for its lack of diversity and how it handled its awards show. The sale will move the HFPA from nonprofit status to for-profit. The 81st Annual Golden Globes is set for January 7, 2024. Another big announcement is rocking Hollywood. Pat Sajak, host of one of America's biggest game shows, will be signing off next year. Longtime Wheel of Fortune host Pat Sajak tweeted that he's stepping down as host when the new season kicks off in September. Sajak is 76 years old. He began hosting the popular game show in the early 80s. Sajak wrote that it's been a wonderful ride. A Sony Pictures Television exec says Sajak will work as a consultant on the show for 3 years. Sometimes all we need is some popcorn and a Pixar movie. The newest film from the animation giant has all the feels. It's called Elemental, and it takes place in a world where air, earth, water, and fire can't mix. But that changes when someone leaves their town to make big discoveries. The stars hit the red carpet for the premiere and shared what fans can expect to see.
Elemental is about how all these diverse peoples in this world live together, in spite of what seemingly is their differences, that once you just shake it up a little, you get to understand how valuable a difference of opinion is to make your life richer.
Yeah, I mean, the whole thing is about bringing a lot of different point of views together and bridging them together now, and the movie is about diversity and mixing, and that's what this whole film was, like a bunch of different artists from all over the world coming together to make, something that could connect.
We need to kind of remember that our differences kind of bring us together, or could bring us together if we let them. So that is kind of what this film is saying. Like, yeah, you've got all these elements. They don't seem like they go together, but they could.
It's a wonderful story. It's a story about a melting pot city. It's a story. It's a great love story, and the characters we love so much, just kind of spending time with. So just think it's a fun movie for everyone.
This film, it's not only a story about self-love, it's about family love, and it's also about, just actually falling in love and finding unlikely connection in places that you wouldn't.
For me, what really centered and grounded me to the story was the familial ties, the themes of family sacrifice, and that feeling that I have always grown up with, like my parents have done so much for me, what can I do to possibly repay them? And you can't, but you can love them. And this movie is really fundamentally about love. I think Pete Stone says it best. It's all about love in all its shapes and forms. So enjoy it.
It's time to swing into the Spider-Verse. It's one of the most anticipated films of the year, with fan favorite Miles Morales returning for the sequel to the 2019 animated film. Brian Tyree Henry, who plays Miles' father, tells Out.com that he doesn't take the opportunity to portray a strong Black father lightly.
I took the role for quite a few reasons. One, in fantasy and in action and things like that, you so rarely get to see a connection of father and son that looks like this. It's very rare that you get to see Black people be superheroes or Latino people be superheroes. You very rarely get to see them have both parents in the home, come from a good home. You very rarely get to see the father be there for the son. Also, this father happens to be a part of law enforcement and is a Black man in New York. I also knew what that looked like, and what I wanted to do was just change the narrative. I wanted to change the narrative of what that looked like. I wanted all these young Black and brown kids to really look up at this screen and see themselves reflected. I wanted there to be a connection of family. I wanted to be called Daddy. I also but there's a bunch of things. I really wanted an opportunity, and I wanted a possibility for others to see the representation of a family that looked like theirs. And so when they approached me about this, yes, there was a bit of a hesitation because I had my own feelings about how I felt about law enforcement, how I felt about, absent fathers and things like that. But it really gave me a place to connect and gave me a place to ground myself and a place to let go. And I think that the best thing that I could bring to this character is love and understanding. I'm not a father. I do not know what it's like to raise a young Black man in this world, but I was a young Black man once, and I think that this is what I could have benefited from if I had depictions of fathers and sons like this. So that's why I took the part.
An actor synonymous with great TV and films is now taking on the world of audio. Jesse Tyler Ferguson is partnering with Sony Music for the Dinners on Me podcast. Each week, he takes a star to restaurants across New York and Los Angeles. The meals are delicious and the conversations are intimate with people like Julie Bowen and Niecy Nash Betts, and the topics include mental health and family. But there are also plenty of laughs. Jesse tells me about being on the other side of the interview and normalizing queer visibility. The concept of Dinners on Me is so fascinating because it's a little foodie and it's really, an interview show.
I do have a cookbook. I am known to be someone who enjoys, good food. So, and for me, I had no intention of starting a podcast. I feel like there's a lot of them out there, but I do feel like there's a space for a conversational podcast like this in the food space, at a restaurant. And I also get to showcase these wonderful restaurants that I love and the chefs behind them. So for me, it kind of seems like a no-brainer. I'm also such an advocate of doing things that feel out of your comfort zone and that are scary. And this is certainly one of those things that, it's new for me. So I was happy to take on the challenge. Luckily, I've had 11 years or more of, having the experience of being the one being interviewed. So, it is sort of fun to sort of turn the tables a bit and interview some people that I admire greatly. I've taken a lot of sort of, inspiration from people who I've enjoyed sitting down with, people like David Letterman and Ellen DeGeneres and even Drew Barrymore and Conan O'Brien. Like, these are all people that I really love sitting down and having conversations with. So I just try and remember how they made me feel. They made me feel comfortable. Even like right now, just with you, it's like, having a really easy, comfortable conversation. I just try and bring that to the interviews or the conversation. I don't even like calling them interviews, the conversations that I have on the podcast. So, I think and also being at a table and having food together, I think immediately takes the pressure off of the situation. Like, it doesn't feel quite so formal. I'm bringing these people to restaurants that I love and admire so much. So, we're having these great conversations, but we're also having some amazing lasagna as well. So people tend to be a little more loose-lipped in those situations.
The climate has changed even since Modern Family went off the air. We're in this inflection point where LGBTQ plus Americans are under attack. And it shouldn't seem radical, but just by virtue of the fact that you are openly talking about your husband and children and being a gay man, it is in its way a radical thing to talk about joy and just your life. And would you share with me what that means to you to put that out there, especially at a time when visibility is crucial, more crucial than it was even a few years ago?
Talking about Justin and talking about my kids, it is very natural for me. It doesn't feel like a statement. It doesn't feel like something that I'm aware of, but it is very nice to be reminded that those moments of visibility and representation are so important. We are in a really, really scary time, and I'm looking ahead toward the world that we're creating for our children. And now being a father of two boys, I'm just hoping to raise two wonderful feminists who are going to be looking out for the rights not only for themselves but for all people. I feel in a lot of ways we are in great hands with the next generation, and I hope that my kids can be a part of that movement.
Thank you so much to Jesse for joining me. Episodes of Dinners on Me are available wherever you listen to your podcasts. The Advocate Channel, Equal Pride, and Out Magazine are joining with iHeartMedia and Procter & Gamble for one of the biggest Pride celebrations online. The Advocate Channel is the official streaming partner. Can't Cancel Pride is going into its 4th year. This year's host is Jojo Siwa. You can watch Can't Cancel Pride on advocatechannel.com and stream it live on the Advocate Channel app. Can't Cancel Pride begins streaming June 15th at 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific. And Hollywood is mourning the loss of a legend. Actor Treat Williams has died at the age of 71 in a motorcycle accident. The crash occurred in Vermont when a driver collided with Williams. He had notable roles in films like Hair and Prince of the City and the early queer comedy The Ritz. He also portrayed super agent Michael Ovitz in the HBO movie The Late Shift. Williams also found success in television. He starred in the series Everwood and Chesapeake Shores, as well as appearing in Chicago Fire. Williams is survived by his wife Pam Van Sant and their 2 children. You can watch the Advocate channel live by downloading our app in the Apple or Google Play Store. You can also subscribe to our YouTube channel. For the Advocate channel, I'm Tracy E. Gilchrist, and thank you for watching.